Okay, so, Jean, the last I heard, you didn't receive anything from the ambulance service. Is that- Oh, so,
We received something yesterday and we do have a gentleman here.
okay, would you like to go up to the podium, please, and, state your name?
Good evening. My name is Matthew Wagner. I'm the Deputy Chief for Tower Direct. Quick overview of our report. Monthly calls for 920 for a year to date of 2,221. Sorry, monthly calls in your municipality were 172 for a total of 2,221. 73% of those were transported. 10% were patient refused transports. Top call types were ALS medical, BLS trauma, and ALS trauma. With that, 84% went to Reading, 15% went to St. Joe's, and 1% went elsewhere. And then year to date, we're at 87% going to Reading and 13% to St. Joe's. 73% of those calls were billable transports, 17 were non-billable, billable non-transports, and 10% were non-billable calls. Average shoot time, which is dispatch to door, is 1 minute 11 seconds, with a total call time of 55 minutes and 40 seconds. Questions going to answer for you.
I guess that's it. Thank you very much.
Sure. And I do apologize for the report. This is my first month, as I met you guys a couple of months ago. My first month taking over the municipal reporting, tried to automate it. Obviously, the computer's smarter than me and didn't work. So I'll do better next month.
Thank you.
Okay, did everyone get a chance to take a look at the minutes? Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes? I'll second.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell.
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, anything for tax collector?
As far as I'm aware, there's nothing particularly unusual. As you can imagine, this is a slower time of year, although there probably will be a bump at the end of the year as some taxpayers wait literally to the last day. But those will be deposited in January. So you may see a little bump in January.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda.
How would you like to do this? Would you like me to read any portions, or is the board going to simply adopt a motion? How would you like to do this?
Okay.
That's fine with me. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So that's literally all it is. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell.
Yes.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes. Okay, so there was no one signed up for public comment. Right. So we'll move on to the departments, the police department with Chief Winchester.
Thank you. Good evening. You all should have my monthly report on your tablets. If there's any questions I can answer, I will try to do that. Just a couple things I wanted to mention with the officers. I have the patrol lieutenant provide me with a detailed report of pretty much everything every officer is doing on a monthly basis to kind of get a good snapshot. It's a condensed version, but a more specific targeted version of what you all receive in your monthly report from me. But one of the things that I just want to highlight is some of the details that the officers do on a regular basis. So we had on the 17th of November, we had two officers, a sergeant and an officer, conduct a sit-back elementary traffic safety program for our school district, where the officers go in and present to third and fourth graders on traffic safety, the importance of seatbelts and things to that nature. which surprisingly is something that if we can, the mindset is, or the intent is to get the children on board early of vehicular safety, not for driving, but being in a vehicle. And then they can remind their parents to put their seatbelts on if they're not having their seatbelts on. We also participated in a truck detail that was a countywide detail that Exeter Township has run. We also have scheduled 2 truck details, but both of which were canceled due to weather. So we do intend to do that and run that in the township in the very near future. I also wanted to talk a little bit very quickly about some recent scams and frauds that we had in the township. They're not unique to this township, they're everywhere, but they're hitting close to home and they're fairly significant. Any amount of money that's being defrauded from any individual or family is going to be significant. But the 2 that I wanted to point out that are significant monetarily is one where a resident received a phone call. And what I like to point out is these scammers are very, very convincing, as everyone knows. They do their research, they look online. You'd be amazed at the amount of information that people can find out about you online. And this individual scammer was able to identify a resident who had previously owned property in Florida and was involved in numerous businesses, all legitimate, but they claimed to be from the Department of Homeland Security and telling them that they were part of a money laundering scheme because of their prior businesses. And they were able to defraud the victim out of over $100,000. That money's gone. We can't get that money back. And there's a very small percent chance that we're going to be able to hold anyone accountable for that. So the reason I bring this up is to remind everybody that they're out there, they're preying on you, they're getting information, they're very convincing. But one thing that the government or any government agency will never do is call you and tell you that and demand money of any kind, whether it's gift cards, Bitcoin, cash, anything like that. They will never do that. No government agency will ever do that, from state to local to federal government. So the second you hear somebody say, you owe us money and you need to provide that money to us now in order to avoid jail, that's your first indication that this is a fraud. Please call us. If you have any questions or concerns that this may not be a fraud because they know way too much information about you, please call us and we will absolutely reassure you and walk you through it, help you and guide you through it so you don't lose any money. The other red flag is when anyone ever tells you, don't tell anybody about this. If you contact anybody, you'll be deemed as an uncooperator or someone that we're not going to provide you with any breaks moving forward. No government agency or individual or employee will ever say that to you. IRS, Homeland Security, DEA, FBI, Cumru Township Police Department. That'll never happen. So please call us and let us help you before this money's gone. You don't want to lose your money. They're very convincing. We also had another one, another resident that was defrauded out of $8,000 for something very similar, but saying that they were from the Berks County Sheriff's Department. They spoofed numbers. They used the names of real deputies. Many of you have been here before, know the story of an individual who was on a phone with a criminal, someone who's trying to defraud them, claiming to be me while she was in our vestibule talking to this person saying, I'm Madison Winchester Police Chief, while she's looking at me. And I'm telling her that's obviously not me, I'm me, you know. So please call us. They're making money off of this because people are either embarrassed, scared, tricked, most likely tricked. And it's very profitable and they'll continue to do it until it's not profitable anymore. So please, I would love nothing more than in Cumru Township that no resident be scammed. So please call us. You can call at 24 hours a day, any day a week. call the police. We will walk you through it. We'll help you. If there's any question whatsoever, if you think you might be getting scammed, please call us. Look out for if you have family members that are elderly. They prey on individuals like this that may be alone, that may be not have anyone to talk to. We just had another where it was an elderly individual and he was defrauded out of thousands and thousands of dollars. And it wasn't until his children realized this, and it was already 2 months later until it was reported to us. And it's just a shame. So please, 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 they're going around, and they're going to continue to go around. If there's any questions, please call me, stop and talk to me, stop and talk to any officer. You can call 911 for that. Absolutely 100% call 911 right away. Please let us know if you have any questions. On a much lighter note, I wanted to just inform the general public and the board that we do have two benefits that the officers are doing right now. One is a food drive for helping harvest. So we're collecting non-perishables, food to be donated. We will take all that food on the 19th and donate it to Helping Harvest. There's two areas where you can drop off food, one down here, one upstairs. We also have a toy drive, which is being done through one of our lieutenants. His daughter collects presents, and they take those presents right over to the University of Penn Medical Center and provide those to the children to hopefully brighten up their holiday, spirit and knowing that they're not home, and to help them out a little bit. So two great benefits that we participate in, and we've been doing it for a couple of years. So please feel free to drop off anything for either food for the Helping Harvest or a toy drive for a needy child, a deserving child. We'll take care of that. Both of those are going to be picked up, if you will, on the 19th of this month, by the end of the week, I guess on Friday, and delivered. So please help us out. Finally, I apologize for the length. I wanted to inform the board that the school warning device down on Philadelphia in 724 was involved in a vehicular accident where a car smashed into it and took out pretty much everything. The power source, the warning device, made a mess of everything to the point where it's going to take months to replace everything down there to get that operational again. In the meantime, I just wanted to tell the board what the PD has put in place to try and address that concern that the school obviously is going to have and did have, that the school warning device signals were damaged. We did deploy, and we will have our signboard down there until this warning device is replaced. So it could be a few months, but we're going to have that board down there to alert motorists of the school zone during school zone hours. We're also going to be putting some additional signage up. Public Works has ordered signs for outlining the time zones for the school speed zone. We're going to put that up. We're also going to have one of our sergeants, Sergeant Griffith, who has Daisy. He's down at the school a lot. He's been directed to be in that area during drop off and pickup because he's not assigned to radio calls, and because he has Daisy and everyone loves Daisy. So
everybody's going to stop for Daisy.
Everyone will stop for Daisy. So Sergeant Griffith will be down there every day during school day hours when he's working. We will also supplement some manpower from the shift, barring any calls for service that come in or emergencies. So we're going to maintain a heavy presence down there to make sure that we don't get into a situation where out of sight, out of mind, it's not been up and running for months, and now all of a sudden we have a huge problem down there. So I did make a recommendation to the school district to redeploy some of their school police officers to that area to assist, and I know they did that. So we're working in cooperation with the school district to make sure we have a good handle on that and maintain a strong presence down there until that school warning device signal is back up and running.
Just out of curiosity, who pays for that? Is that insurance, the state, us, the school?
The insurance, we'll go after their insurance company.
In this case, we have a responsible party. A lot of times when signs get knocked down, we don't know who did it, but this case, we know.
Chief, quick question on the food and toy drives, through 12/19 through Friday, is that close of business Friday or do we have it in by close of business Thursday to be taken away Friday?
If we could have them, the toy drive, I'm being told, is going to be delivered on the 19th. So if we could do the close of business day on the 18th, that would be preferable, yes. And then the 19th is a very short trip down to Helping Harvest, so that can be on the 19th.
Okay, thank you. Fire Department with Chief Bean.
Good evening, Commissioners, General Public. Monthly report was submitted, 111 calls. Currently to date, we're at 1,173 calls. I would take any questions if there's any. If not, I'll keep on moving, keep this moving. Item B is I'm looking for a motion for consideration of pay applications totaling $67,470.65 to the following: Bolton Inc. Pay application 18, $636,387.24. HB Fraser, pay application 17, $22,020.41, and Vision Mechanical, pay application 16 for $9,063, for a total of $667,470.65.
Move to pay application 16, 17, 18 for a total of 667,000 and some.
Mr. Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
Letter C, we finished up the testing process, and as of this morning at 9 a.m., the Civil Service Commission certified a list for firefighter with 9 individuals on it. Started out with 14 before oral interviews, ended up with 9. They certified that list. Both lists are posted outside in the respective boxes, and the applicants will be notified. It's more of an update, procedural thing from a civil service standpoint. And finally, letter D, Santa will be coming to town here December 20th. Website gets posted. All times are estimated. We'll start around 3:45 down in the Flying Hills area. And please, if anyone asks, Santa doesn't fit down all of the streets. We've made some, I want to say, we adapted slightly. So Santa fits down a lot more streets than he used to. So, but they will keep things moving so they can get through the entire township and be done by 9:30 p.m. On the 20th. And obviously, if it's bad weather, it'll be subject to conditions of the roads. But right now, it looks like it's going to be decent weather on Saturday evening. So that's more of a public service announcement that Santa will be coming around. And the times are posted on the homepage of the website. And if there's no further questions, that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Administration, Jean.
Good evening. The first item is the codes report. As you can see, it's relatively slow for this month, which is to be expected. Hopefully, as much as a white Christmas is very pretty, I hope Santa doesn't bring too much snow with him. Item B, the refuse and recycling calendar for 2026 is at the printer. We have run some off from the copy machines, and there were some back there if anyone wants to take one. And if you need it emailed or you would like another paper copy, please feel free to contact the office. It will take several weeks for it to be both printed in bulk and then mailed. one thing that will be noticeable is the refuse and recycling calendar for 2026 has been expanded by another panel. This is to satisfy a number of unfunded mandates for various notifications that are required not just in electronic form on a website, but also in different media. If you have any questions, please let me know. The next item is also just for the board's information. Every year, the township administration mails out to all known businesses a mailing. It's a rather large packet. It contains information to report to the township any recycling, which is a requirement of the state recycling law and township ordinance. It also contains various other types of notifications that businesses have to register annually with the township. It also contains information from the police department. It will this year have information on the service that the fire department provides for the Community Connect program, which is where you can sign up on the internet about your property. It will also have a notification to the businesses about Officer Oliver and Officer Daisy. So there's quite a large package of information that will be mailed out to a number of businesses. Item D, records management. I will need a motion on this. Periodically, we dispose of records in accordance with the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission records retention schedule. There's a short list, and I'm requesting a motion to allow us to dispose of those records. A lot of them are old records having to do with road projects from, it's hard to believe that any year numbering over 2000 is 20 years ago, but yes, 20 years ago. And a few other records of entities that are no longer existing. So I'm requesting a motion on that resolution.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is for the board's and the public's information. The board a couple of months ago had authorized administration to advertise for a Class 3 administrative assistant position. That advertisement is currently active. It is on the internet and on the township's website. We're accepting applications through January 6, 2026. And I'm sure interviews will take place shortly thereafter. Item F, speaking of the person who is administering that hiring, the Business and Personnel Administrator, Kristen Yoder, she was hired after longtime employee Peggy Carpenter retired earlier this year. And Kristen has been doing an amazing job. She's had extremely large shoes to fill because Peggy was here for 35 years. And I really have to congratulate Kristen on stepping into that role and making it her own. And I'm recommending to the board that she be removed from probationary status and granted a permanent employment status.
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
There you go. The next item requires a little bit of explanation. There are two types of sewage. There is sanitary sewer, which are most people refer to as public sewer, the sewer pipes in the ground, in the streets, etc. There's also on-lot sewer. Anyone who owns a septic system, that's an on-lot sewer system. But there are different types of on-lot sewer systems. There are a few places in the township, principally along Route 625, where the on-lot systems that were originally associated with the home no longer function. There are various other types of systems that can be devised to service that home. If the home does not have a method of sewage disposal, it can no longer be occupied. There are two of these facilities along 625 called a small flow treatment system. Essentially, it's treating the gray water before it is released into the ground. And now there is a third property along that same corridor that requires one of these small flow treatment systems. There is a maintenance agreement that the property owner is required to have with the township. The township holds an amount of money. These treatment systems require a more rigorous maintenance than a typical septic system, which anyone in the audience who has a more typical system has it pumped out every 3 years or so. These other systems need annual maintenance. There is an agreement that the township will hold a certain amount of money in case the township becomes aware that the property owner is not maintaining the system, and then the township can use that money to do the basic maintenance on the system and then determine whether enforcement is necessary from there. Ultimately, the approval of this type of system has to be done by the Department of Environmental Protection, so a resolution to forward that is required. Also, I wanted to ask the solicitor, are we at that point of adopting an agreement or a resolution?
We aren't. I did get an email from Jeff Wormcastle about this particular property and the agreement, and I had asked Patty to send the proposed agreement to me because I think there needs to be a bigger escrow than what it was proposed. So I want to look at Jeff's comments and the agreement. So I think we can table that until
Okay.
Maybe even the reorg meeting, because it shouldn't be that difficult. It's only 6 pages.
Okay. But that's the background behind these types of systems. It's a better alternative than having to condemn the house. So thank you for listening. The next group of items we have are planning. We have a couple of reaffirmations of approval. One is the Penske Customer Experience Center. Essentially, it's an expansion of their facility out at Green Hills Corporate Center. The plan was approved. For some reason, we do not know. They have not acted on recording that plan, fulfilling all the conditions and recording that plan. On Old Lancaster Pike, 719 Old Lancaster Pike, this is the pump station for photons, not electrons. I remember from Mr. Donnell correcting me on that, for fiber optic out at the intersection of Fairmont and Old Lancaster Pike. They also have conditions that they need to fulfill in order to record their plan. For anyone who has observed out there, they have begun earth moving, which they are allowed to do when they have their earth moving permit, but there's only so much they can do until their plan is recorded, and any work that they do is at their own risk. So we're requesting that both of those plans be reaffirmed by the board.
So moved.
Second,
Mr. Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
yes.
Thank you. The next item is 340 Old Lancaster Pike. This is, many people will know that there is a facility out at Lancaster Pike that sells sheds. That same property owner owns a building near there, and now they also own a piece of land that is undeveloped, which is between their building and Tremont Avenue. They have submitted a land development plan to the Planning Commission. They received zoning hearing board relief on a number of items, and the Planning Commission is recommending certain waivers, as you can see detailed on page 6 at the top. They are going to be putting in public sewer and public water. They have been discussing with the fire chief with respect to a hydrant and a wide enough area for fire trucks. That area of Old Lancaster Pike does not have curb or sidewalk, and they're the property owner on both sides of Old Lancaster Pike at that particular location. So the planning commission has recommended these waivers that are detailed.
Just curious, with their putting in the public water and sewer, is there any reason we would want to do a utility impact assessment, or does it seem like a small enough development that it shouldn't have high impact?
It's a small development. It's one building that is going to be primarily storage, and then they're going to have a garage bay for a truck. I think the utility impact assessment on water is actually the fire chief sitting right next to you. He's having a lot of impact on how they're designing their water system, including a fire hydrant, which is needed at that location.
The environmental waiver, is there, what was their reasoning for not performing that?
That particular location, if anyone in the audience might recall, used to be the Hunsinger oil facility. There were above ground large oil tanks there that were cleared up decades ago. That particular location, there's not much else that can be done with it, frankly. It's a very small area, and Tremont Avenue is at a high elevation above Lancaster. Old Lancaster Pike is at a couple, I don't know, what did you say, Bob, about 80 feet below? It's a very small area sandwiched between these two roads. And the only thing that was on there were the remains of the concrete pillars that used to hold these oil tanks. The oil tanks had been removed a long time ago. So there are no wetlands. There was no forestry. Frankly, it was a steep slope of weeds. So there did not appear to be any particular environmental concerns at this location. They do not have to do a sewage planning module, I believe so they wouldn't be required to do a PINDI, natural diversity inventory as well.
Quick follow-up on that, Gene. When the oil tanks were there, was it the same owner who was requesting?
Absolutely not. It's
Okay.
been through numerous owners there over the year. The oil tanks were gone long before I even got here 28 years ago. And then there were a series of owners, and these various owners of the lots were trying to figure out what to do with this lot, because the only reason this development can happen at all is because the entity developing this property owns the building in front of it and can run the sewer and water. When this property was owned separately from all the properties around it, there was no way to get sewer and water to it.
I'm happy to accept the extension.
This would be the waivers. Oh, and you can, if you want, you can bundle the extension of time. The reason for the extension of time on the same plan, if you want to bundle them together, is that, as you know, with planning, there are time limits, and there has been discussion about the exact configuration of sewer and water. For example, they were at the October Authority meeting, and so they're running up against that deadline. And this way, offering the extension of time allows for more time to get the details right.
I would move to accept the extension and approve the saldo waivers.
I'll second it.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell.
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
Thank you. The last item is 2399 Lancaster Pike is the small building and automobile and truck place immediately next to the Good Life building, which was the old Lazy Boy on Lancaster Pike at Thane. This property owner had submitted a request for a waiver of land development, which the Planning Commission in 2025 has formalized that procedure. The Planning Commission determined that this property needed to go back to the zoning hearing board to ask for additional relief. His previous zoning relief had expired. The property owner has not done anything on this matter, so it's recommended that the waiver of land development be rejected.
Should they want to proceed with this in the future, there's nothing stopping them from going back to the zoning hearing board, getting it.
Correct. In reality, what should happen is the property owner should submit an application to the zoning hearing board.
I move to deny the request.
I'll second that.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McNichol, Public Works.
Good evening. We're requesting permission tonight, authorization to advertise the Ardmore Avenue Sewer Replacement Project. That's been on the agenda before. We applied for a grant. I forget the initials for that. We were denied or just didn't make the last round of that. But we have saved up money in the capital fund under sewer to pay for that long needed project, replacing the sanitary sewer on Ardmore, a portion of Frederick and a small piece on Parkside.
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
Requesting authorization to go ahead and order the F-350 for the sewer department. That was part of the 2026 budget that was recently approved. The cost of that truck is $73,567. It's a four-wheel drive pickup truck with a plow and safety lights.
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
And finally, leaf collection has ended just in time for the snow last weekend. The crews picked up just shy of 500 tons of leaves for the 2025 season. And we're in full winter maintenance mode now. Unless you have any questions, that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Engineer report with Joe.
Just an update from our last commissioners meeting on the Toon Trail crossing along SR 724. The township did reach out to the Schuylkill River Greenway Society to relay our concerns in regards to the safety of that mid-block crosswalk. They did respond, and apparently they do have a permit with PennDOT for this mid-block crosswalk, as well as the maintenance and ownership of the pavement markings, as well as signage. They're looking to update the signage to put in more updated pedestrian type of signage to warn motorists. For now, instead of putting in a flashing beacon, this would need to go in front of PennDOT for their approval, but upon approval, they would like that the township, or at least have permission from the township, to install that signage, as well as updating the pavement markings. Gene, were they looking at the township to perform the work on their behalf, or I kind of interpret that from their response that they were looking for the township to actually do the work and then work out some type of payment method?
That was my impression. The one question I have, Joe, is also my impression from their email is that what their what I'm concerned with their expectation that it might be, cars would be stopping, like as soon as somebody sees a crosswalk, they stop. That's not that kind of crosswalk.
No, actually, they're looking to do it whether it's a pedestrian sign that has an arrow that typically will point to the crosswalk. It's really only to warn motorists as it's a crosswalk and that they have to yield to a pedestrian that's crossing. It's not a stop condition at all. Matter of fact, even with a flash and beacon, that's still not considered a stop condition. It's a warning device that actually enhances the motorists, their visibility to see that there's a crosswalk. They call it a flash and beacon or a rapid flash and beacon. I think from my interpretation from their response, they weren't looking to go that approach. I think they were hoping the signage would maybe alleviate some of the concerns for safety. So my recommendation, I don't have a problem as long as the signage meets PennDOT approval and it's per their handbook of approved signage, and that the pavement markings are in accordance with the mid-block crosswalk. That PennDOT has 3 types of configurations that they would like to see for a mid-block that they could match what's existing. Unfortunately, this time of year, I don't think the pavement markings can really be done until the warmer temperatures.
Are we looking for a motion on this now, or do we need to wait to see how to proceed?
I think
Township forces are not equipped with pavement markings on that section of 724. The flagging and the single lane is gonna be more than what we can handle. We don't have that kind of equipment.
And with the amount of traffic on that road, you're talking a large average daily traffic. My recommendation to the board is let's hear back from the Schuylkill River Greenway in response to the signage. If they receive approval from PennDOT, then I think we can take this in front of the board again and go from there. But I do understand Bob's concern with the pavement marking. You're going to need to implement traffic control, and that's going to be very difficult on a road that has a high volume of traffic.
With that high volume and a higher speed, you need bigger signs, you need more signs, you need a lot of personnel. That's more of a contractor type job.
Joe, that section of road takes over 10,000 cars a day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is over 10,000 vehicles a day. So it's a large amount of traffic, and having a contractor that might have to utilize a actual traffic control company that can provide the proper signage and the proper personnel to close it down to one lane, because they're going to have to transfer the traffic onto one lane until that pavement marking gets completed and then transfer it back on there. If they use thermo, it just takes a little bit of time. It's not too long, but with rapid water-based paint, it may take a little bit of time for it to dry. You don't want to have paint on people's cars. It's difficult to get off.
Would they have difficulty with the railroad right there?
I think as long as they're under their permit, yes, they could with traffic control. They might need to get Norfolk Southern's approval, because that railroad right away, from what I understand, that is a short line. That's the line that goes through Titus. If you recall, when we removed that bridge several years ago, that's the same line. And I believe they run a train four times a day.
Wow, okay.
So that would be an obstacle. That would be something they would need. If they're close to their grade crossing, then Norfolk Southern's going to require a person from their firm to be on site. Typically, that's what they require. Typically, what we did with the removal of that bridge, they had to have a staff member there present while our contractor removed that overpass.
Mhm.
Gordon, do you have a comment?
No, there hasn't been any discussion. I'm aware of that bridge. It's very costly. I'm guessing probably around $2 million it may have cost. That's something that maybe the Schuylkill River Greenway could apply for a grant where they could get some funding. I'm not sure the bridge, how that was funded. It's a good idea for that road. Honestly, a mid-block is not recommended per PennDOT publication 46 when you have over 10,000 vehicles a day. Unless you have a place within that road, like a median where you have a more of a safe harbor place for a pedestrian to cross. But when you have a large amount of traffic, and the 85th percentile is going to be over 40, even if it's posted at 40, most likely it's going to be about 10 miles per hour more, which makes it even more of a safety hazard for a car to adequately stop, especially when there's a crossing. We could get the contact person. I can check with Gene who the proper person is, and I can send you an email. That'd be easier, just to make sure it's the proper person that you want to talk to for that. Okay, I can.
Joe, you could forward that
I'll forward
email.
Okay, I can forward that to you. Okay, sure.
The way typically those types of grants work would be if the nonprofit entity is the applicant, but the money gets washed through the township and when it's dispersed. We did that for the Mifflin Community Library when they purchased the bank and rehabbed that building. We had the same type of agreement.
That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. The solicitor report with Kelsey.
Thank you. Yeah, I just have an update for the board on some recent case law that was just decided by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court related to the state's sunshine laws, and specifically related to the way in which a public agency can add items to meeting agendas after the required 24-hour notice period has lapsed. So the sunshine law has 4 exceptions to what you can do to add to an agenda after the 24 hours of posting has already occurred. And those exceptions are very limited. There is the emergency business exception, which is matters involving clear and present danger to life and property. There's the 24-hour de minimis business exception, which involves minor matters that don't involve any funds or contracts that have arisen in the 24 hours after the posting of the agenda has occurred. There's the de minimis business exception from the public, which involves minor matters that are raised by the public or by a resident that don't involve any funds or contracts. And then the final exception under the sunshine laws is the majority vote clause. And that is an exception that says that a public body can vote to add an item to the agenda for action at the same meeting without having that item being on the agenda when it was posted 24 hours prior. Previously, the Commonwealth Court had ruled that that majority vote exception was not a standalone exception, and that it had to be in addition to one of the other 3 exceptions. So if there was an emergency, if there was de minimis business in the last 24 hours, or if there was a de minimis business request from the public, they could vote as a majority to add that to the agenda and then vote on that item at a meeting. But they couldn't just vote as a majority to add any item to the agenda. The Supreme Court actually overruled that decision just last month in November, and found that the majority exception was actually a standalone exception. So what they're saying is that if the majority of the board wants to add an agenda item that wasn't previously published as required by law, they can do so for any reason, not just those 3 reasons I stated previously, but they have to follow certain procedural requirements, which include stating publicly the reasons for the change to the agenda, voting to add that item to the agenda, and then voting on that item. They also have to amend the online agenda and the posted agenda to reflect that change no later than 1 business day following the meeting at which the change was made. And the meeting minutes where the change to the agenda occurs has to reflect the actual substance of the matter added to the agenda, the vote on the motion to add the matter to the agenda, and the reasons announced for the addition. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention because obviously it involves transparency. 3 actually of the 7 PA justices disagreed with that decision. So it wasn't You know, it wasn't everyone saying, yeah, this is a good decision. And the one common thread in all of sort of their opinions was that they said, hey, legislature, you need to come back and tell us and give us some instruction about what you meant by this exception. Was it procedural or was it substantive? And so we can probably look for that in the future, for that to come down the line. So that's all I had for you. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer if I can.
Just until the legislature comes back with any clarity, that doesn't change, like, the Supreme Court's decision, despite it not being unanimous, is the law.
Currently, yes, that case law stands as the applicable law. I would definitely not recommend that the board, willy-nilly adds agenda items just because now a majority vote would allow you to do that. I think for purposes of full transparency to the public, it's important to make sure the agenda is complete when you post it. But obviously there are certain things that arise that, require efficiency. And I think that's part of the reason that the Supreme Court decided, okay, efficiency, transparency, and what outweighs what. So.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to payment of the bills for November 21st, 26th, and December 5th and 12th. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Oh, give it to Bill.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell.
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes. Okay, so correspondence you can look over there. And next is an executive session. Okay, Kelsey, are you going to give a review?
Sure. Just for the minutes, there was an executive session had by the board regarding two personnel issues, one collective bargaining issue, one matter of litigation, and tax assessment appeal litigation issues. There is only one board action that we're looking for after executive session, and that would be a motion to reaffirm final conditional approval for the Old Hickory Building's revised final land development plan and to issue a written decision based on the board's reaffirmed final conditional approval.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell.
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes. Okay, for reminders, Board of Commissioners organization meeting will be January the 5th at 6:30 p.m. Planning Commission, January the 15th at 6 p.m. and Steering Committee, January 13th at 6 p.m.
You can, as long as it's stated on the agenda that the executive session is going to be held first. But you can certainly make that announcement now since it's starting earlier, which is a different time than usual.
Okay, so the executive session will start at 6:30. Oh, okay. So it'll start at 6, and 6:30 will be this for the swearing in, and then 7 would be the regular meeting.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
think the executive session will start at 6. The regular meeting starts at 6:30, and that'll cover everything.
So
I got that right?
office closings, December 24th and 25th. And December 31st, January 1st, for New Year's. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.